Hello viewers. Well, it was announced recently that Ace Combat 7 would finally be released in January 2019. A game that we feel like we've been covering forever. You know, it really does. It is one of those that, I think we were playing it at E3 2017, playing it in January 2017. So certainly been a long time coming. Recently, obviously, we had the announcement of the VR trailer, obviously looking stunning, and now we see some direct feed gameplay here as well. Looking at the various menus as I prepare for the mission. And it's all nicely done. It always reminds me of Ace Combat 2, really. It's got nice music, it's got great visuals. Really nice to see in terms of the way it's been put together. You can tell the detail that's been lavished upon even the menus. Fantastic. And I'll be uploading a couple of no comment videos on this as well on the Team VV Games channel, so do check those out. But first I just wanted to go through here my impressions. So I let this run first just to see what it was all about. This is a demo build, this is not the final game. And just looking at the menus, you can control the menus with your stick there, so it's just me whizzing around. I always like little things like that when you can add something. And let's see, just looking at my mission parameters. I didn't fully listen to him at the time, I was setting my recording gear up. And so I'm looking, right, attack those guys, and go from there. So we're going to start mission, and first we select our fighter jet. And there are, I believe, 3 that were selectable. I don't necessarily choose the right one, I just choose whatever the default is at the start here. But there were other fighters that were far more suitable for this particular mission. Just looking at the camera here, just zooming in. Just rotating around the craft, appreciating the detail in the model. I mean, the graphics are fantastic throughout. Just when you think of where we've come from, the amount of detail we have now in these games. Even the background as well, nice reflections and lighting. So the whole game is stunning in terms of its presentation, and especially in VR. I mean, wow, it's a real special VR experience. We've seen it running on PSVR. No word yet if it's going to run on HTC Vive or Oculus. I hope it does. If it does, I'll be sure to play it on the Vive. And select your weapons. Again, I'm not really going through here choosing the best weapon for the job. I've no idea what the mission is. Once you learn your missions, you'll obviously choose the right weapons and become more adept at how to do it. So,
all aircraft, spread out and attack.
We're clear to attack, right? I heard the regular forces were going to clean things up. It's just like before. We blow the shit out of everything.
Sharp as a tack, aren't you, Spare 8? Regular forces can reduce losses.
So just going through selectable viewpoints, and then we'll engage into battle, basically. Just figuring out what my buttons are here. I generally like to go for the expert control method. I like to spin around in my plane, you know, feel like a badass and just spin around. And I did on the original, actually, on the original Air Combat on the PlayStation 1, which was released early on in the life of the PlayStation 1. It was a fantastic game at the time, great rock soundtrack. It was amazing for its time, it has to be said. Ace Combat 1 and Air Combat 1 and Ace Combat 2.
You guys do not have that luxury.
So, what are we supposed to do?
So I think not all of the targets are actually available on your scanner here. You have to kind of hunt around and find them at first, and then discover which weapons you've got on board that are best for taking out different enemies.
I'm out. Returning to resupply.
So I didn't lock on there.
I'm getting back.
Nice try. This stuff isn't for you guys.
Let's be honest here. The regulars like us aren't allowed to resupply. But in your heart, you want us to smash
Okay,
that base.
now we see a bad guy somewhere. So
You're gonna wish this mission
we'll
never
get some more
ended.
here. Locking onto them.
Come around.
Once I get the hang of it in a moment, it's all pretty straightforward. It's knowing what am I supposed to be shooting at? What am I locking onto? Go. Now, he was at pains in the briefing to point out that you don't have enough weaponry to pretty much take everything out. And if you run out of weaponry, you should just keep flying around and dodging missiles. I'll just manoeuvre myself into position now. So I'm getting a hang of it gradually. And now I start taking some people down. Let's take these guys down. Let's get this plane before it takes off. Still not working. Go. I think what it is, I was using the wrong button there. There was a button that you select to the object you want to lock onto, and it wasn't locking onto what I wanted it to. So once I found that button, suddenly all my missiles were hitting the target. I used to play the originals a lot back in the day, and the original game actually had a split screen 2-player as well, Versus. That was great fun. So few games have that. I don't know if this game will have it, but it would be great if it did. There's no reason why it shouldn't in terms of from a technical perspective. So the aircraft I'm using is more geared towards air-to-air combat than air-to-ground combat. So I quickly realised when I was in the middle of this mission that it's not really the best for ground objects. Even though it's a bit middle of the road. Let's lock onto these guys, come on. Trying not to use my missiles, nothing's locking onto anything, so come on, lock on. Not happening. But graphically, really nice. Really nice visuals, there's nice hue. Details the sky and the clouds. It's amazing how all this sort of technology has moved on in the last couple of years to just subtly make it look better and better. In the VR, it's, you know, I can't tell you, it's very authentic. You know, the moisture on the cockpit and, you know, detail on the glass. Absolutely fascinating. It just shows where games are going in the next sort of 10 years when we think we're going to get better and better. It's going to look more and more realistic.
Missile in the air! Heads up!
Hostile has a lock. Need help.
Star warning.
No. It's funny actually, when you're playing it at the time, you want it to lock on because you know you've got limited time on the demo. I think I've only got a few more seconds for the timeout, so I'm trying to rush some of these kills. So, gear your craft up, go into the mission, actually know your briefing and know what you're doing, and then you'll fly through these in no time. But I really enjoyed what I was playing of it here. This was great. Just enjoying flying around and the music and the atmosphere. Go on, that's it, finally. Great explosions as well, look at that, nice. Proper sort of volume to them. Another strafing run on this area. Locked onto. This guy. Actually, we've got a bit of time just to close up on this guy, and then that's the end of that demo. So that was the demo, basically. A very short demo to try out. And thanks for playing. So on to the demo again, and I had 2 missions on this demo.
I've received a medal for my
So
ingenuity in finding a use.
obviously time was limited. I'd like to have sort of ordinarily I'd have restarted and done that mission a bit quicker and chosen something that was a bit more ground oriented in terms of its attack style. But we had to swiftly move on to the next mission, which was a low altitude canyon run.
Make yourselves useful.
Again, I choose an impractical aircraft, but it's kind of a, if you're good at flying and destroying the ground objects, you've got a capable aircraft for air-to-air combat. If you have an A-10, something like that, and some aircrafts come to shoot you down, you really haven't got much to defend yourself. So you've got to be strategic in terms of how you're going to approach your mission. Different aircraft and missiles.
Aircraft preparations complete. You're cleared to
And
taxi.
preparing for takeoff. So off we go into the second mission on the demo. And this demo was shown at Gamescom recently, so some of you may have already seen it.
You will be near thunderclouds.
By the way, you get that little moisture effect. It's nice.
Who's the dumbass who came up with
Through
this
the
batshit
clouds.
plan?
Just obey orders.
And straight from these mountains, they're quite low, flying you in.
The Cyclops
So I thought I'd do this one from
7 aircraft.
the outside view, just to mix it up a bit.
Understood.
Low on ammunition. It'll be hard to take on hostiles.
This
We'll have to rely on you guys.
it's quite a risky map, this one. It was quite challenging. You really had to fly in quite close, as quick as you can, as low as you could,
Mr. Guard Dog.
to take out some of these bad guys. They'll lock onto you and shoot you down pretty quickly if you're not
Hostile has a lock.
sort of quick at weaving around.
Missile incoming. Evade.
There's a guy who hides around a corner somewhere, and you've got to shoot 2 of them quite quickly. This is all a bit risky. It's not looking good. Okay, we've managed it. And, oh, goodness. Right, we're okay. No, we're not okay. And we're flying our way through. So, you can see there, obviously, it's see your pants. And you're just hoping that's him down. Look at that, great explosion there. Fantastic.
Facility is confirmed.
I think I've missed one now, maybe. So I'm going to just fly over.
Missile. Missile. Missile.
Careful. Don't crash into the mountains.
And unless you have a death wish, watch your altitude.
Sometimes when you're being shot at, you don't always know where somebody's coming from. I've clearly gone off and missed my target there. And I had something else going on at the time I was recording this, so wasn't able to put 100% attention into it. And I didn't have any audio, which didn't help.
I can't see in this suit. Gotta fly by instrument.
But other than that, just flying through the rest of the mission, shooting down some of the primary targets. But you can see, obviously, again, massive step forward in terms of visuals, scale of the environments, textures, look, feel. What you're not seeing there is the various turbulence there is in terms of, I'm just looking at the map, various turbulence there is in terms of detail, how the clouds affect your craft. All that's going to come in future previews, and we've covered some of it in the past. It's really amazing seeing how your craft sort of ices up at high altitude or in some of the clouds. It's going to be really interesting to see how they combine it all together in the final game, how many missions there are, how many are in VR, what there is to look forward to. But so I'm getting blown by some gusts of wind there, and just taking a risk by flying a little bit high, trying to get back into that canyon again. So that's it from me for now. Some random chat with Ace Combat 7. I think the game looks absolutely spectacular. It's one I'm going to cover a bit more on the channel, and there'll be a bit more of it on the Team VV Games channel as well in terms of no comment runs. But that's it from me for now. As ever, more soon.
Gonna slam us into the rock.
Blowing me off course. garage on their own. I'm spiked. Requesting assistance.
Caution.
In gun
Pull
range.
up. Caution. Pull up. Caution. Pull up.
Thunderclouds are common this time of year.
Vehicle down.
Fire! They have nowhere to run!
Missile.
Trigger! Missile! Get out of the way!
Missile. Caution. Pull up. Caution.
5 minutes remaining. It's cloudy around there. Radar visibility is limited. Stay alert.
Trigger eliminated the target.
Caution. Pull up. Caution.
Chris, below me and clouds above? This is a joke. It has to be.
I want to send the Russians to hell, but I sure enjoyed them.
They got spare 15.